Today we're doing something a little different in the barn, okay? We are actually giving a lesson. Now, per AQHA rules, I'm not a professional. I'm not receiving compensation for this lesson. I am not taking money. Don't take this lesson as me giving you advice, okay? This is a person I know. She's getting on my horse, and I'm just telling her how to ride it because she just wanted to ride it, okay? Okay, now, a lot of the things that I see on my channel is people wanting to get into horses. They want to get into going to a lesson barn. They want to take a lesson. They've never had the option of knowing horses and being around them. And so I want to just let someone who is a beginner, you've been around horses for 2 years now, but really you've ridden less than 20 times. And on Ethel, less than 3 times, honestly. And I mean, each time you've ridden, it's been like a walk, a trot, you've loped once. So, a beginner. I want to let her on camera do everything from catching to saddling and grooming and lunging and riding and detacking and untacking, yeah, and hosing and turning around. I want to show the beginner world of what you might see in a lesson. You might not always have the luxury of riding a horse as dead broke as Ethel, or you might not have a single person lesson. It might be a group lesson. There's going to be always different things depending on where you are, the lesson barn that you go to. But I figured it'd be a nice little look into a beginner on a beginner safe horse and what that might look like for a ride and all of the befores and afters that have to happen. So let's go. We're going to go back in time and catch you. Now this is a YouTube exclusive. We're not filming this for a TikTok, so it's the only place you can get it.
It will be on Snapchat,
though. But if you didn't watch this on like the day, you're missing it. By the time this is posted, it's gone. You gotta be on Snapchat for the day of. Oh, you gotta go walk.
I know.
I kind of don't want to walk with you. Are you scared? Whistle. Come on now. If you are going into a riding lesson environment, a lot of times you got to go catch your horse out of the field, maybe bring it in, or at least turn your horse out afterwards. So there's a lot of different aspects to riding the horse than just getting on and riding it. Okay, I'm gonna go help her because there's a lot of mares out there. Ginger, we're not bringing you in too, honey. Ginger, I know you get your cardio in before you ever get on the saddle. Ginger says she wants to just come for a little ride along. She doesn't want to be ridden. She's never been ridden. She has no clue what any of this is about. She just wants to be a part. She just wants to be included.
That was a steep hill.
She's like the little sister that doesn't understand why it's not about her. like she goes to her big sister's ball game and doesn't understand why she can't just participate for fun. You know? That's very Ginger coded. Cut her off that way so you get her coming in.
Come on.
All right, get her ready, Dale.
Okay.
I'm gonna try.
Now, Abigail has ridden a few times, so we got to take her fly mask off. You can take her halter off first. She's not going to go anywhere. So she's ridden a few times, kind of sporadically, and she's ridden Ethel, I think 2 or 3 times before this video. So Abigail, if you were going to say all the things that we have to do prior to getting on our horse and riding, what do you think are like the things that you're about to do to Ethel?
I'm going to
just, yeah, you got a minute. You're good.
the dust. I'm going to brush her hair, like kind of like curry her a little bit. Put fly spray on her. Put the pad, the saddle on. Do the girth. Pick her hooves. And I think that's it.
And then, yeah, and then we'll lunge her.
Yeah.
Ethel, just specifically, not every horse needs to be lunged, and we'll show you what lunging is prior to being ridden. But Ethel, and this isn't really an energy thing, she in the past has had like some stifle issues. She had an injury at one point, she recovered from it, but ever since she's been out of work per se and has just been a broodmare, the lack of muscle and being in shape, it's like the injury, like her stifle kind of like pops because the muscle is lacking. And so getting back into work is actually better for her. So we like to do a long warm up. So lots of slow jogging and things like that before we get into riding. Holding the hoof pick a little differently will help you. Let me see. So, like you want to get a little downward action, you see? And so you get underneath it. So, like that.
I might need to do the other one again.
Okay.
Because I don't know if I think I thought it was just like her hoof, but it might have been like a lot of dirt.
Okay. Good girl. No, you got it.
No, that's good.
You got it.
Oh.
Nice. Good job.
Now she's barefoot in the hind end. You can check to see if she needs her hooves picked still. But generally when they're barefoot, it's going to be a little bit harder for them to get rocks collected in their feet.
Why do you go barefoot in the back?
Well, a lot of our brood mares who aren't being ridden a lot of them are barefoot all the way around. They just don't need shoes. They've got good feet. We do have really rocky ground in Tennessee. And so some of our brood mares have tender feet on those rocks, or they get stone bruises kind of easily. So we might put, some of them have shoes all the way around because they're ex-show horses and that's just what they're used to. Others we have kind of gotten to where they only have front shoes, and if they can handle not having back shoes, there's just not really a reason. And when we're foaling, we don't like for them to have back shoes because it can cause like worse injury if they step on their baby. What are you doing now?
Brushing off the dirt that I just scraped off. Fly spray.
So you don't put it where the saddle pad goes because it'll make the saddle pad like slip around and stuff. So she puts it up underneath her legs, on her udder, on her face, on her chest, and like her legs and whatnot, so that she doesn't get bothered while you're riding her. But you'll notice she's staying away from where the saddle goes. If anyone's ever wondered if horses are as sensitive with their hair as humans, look at the lack of expression on Ethel's face as her hair is being ripped from her follicles. Her poor scraggly mane.
It's beautiful.
You could only be so lucky if you were to have Ethel as your lesson horse. I hope you have Ethel as your lesson horse if you embark on a riding journey, because like she's just standing here and letting her do whatever, and that is why she's like the resident kids horse. That's why she's on the never selling list. She's just a good girl all around. So it is something that I recommend against for green, starting with green. So someone who is a green rider and a beginner rider, getting a young beginner horse or an unridden horse just doesn't usually mesh well. Usually for beginners, it's way better to have a horse that they can build confidence on, and that horse already knows all the things. So the saddle pad goes on. Now you can ride in this one this time.
I'm still struggling with this part.
That's okay.
So
she's only ever saddled a couple of, have you even saddled, like, you're gonna want the stirrup up on the other side.
That's what I always do, it on the wrong side. Because I can't
you're gonna wanna
think
go
of which
from-
direction I'm going.
You're gonna be on her left side, so you're looking at her to the right.
Okay.
So try to get that momentum, like kind of like squatting down and throwing up. There you go. Luckily, she's not very tall.
Okay.
So get the stirrup down first and throw your girth over. And then come back over to this side. And I'm gonna let you do it first before, if I have to fix anything, I fix something. So remember how we pull it up in the middle
Oh, yeah.
and readjust? Yeah, you get that off of their withers, good. Make a little like house on top of her withers, yep.
Is that good?
I don't know why I have to do this because I'm a control freak. Just like, so I like take the whole saddle when I do it instead of just this. So like I'll like kind of lift it up all the way around. That's good. So then you're gonna undo that. She's got a nylon latigo, and then she's got the girth. Yep. Now this was on Sophie last time, so I hope it's not too, the girth isn't too long. I might have to go put it up. That should be good.
And I put it back through here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now make sure it doesn't get all, yep. Now put it back through on the bottom.
Do what?
Put this tail end through here. No, so go about it like, this, behind. Like that.
And then leave it kind of like,
Yeah, so we're gonna go lunger, so she's probably blowing out with her stomach right now, so you're gonna need to recheck your girth before you get on. But yeah, and then remember, pull this. Yep. And then put that right there. Okie dokie. Now we're doing very light work with Ethel today. We might wrap her if we were doing strenuous work. Might put boots on her if we were doing trail or something where she could knock her legs on poles. Today we're doing a very basic ride. So we're not putting on any wraps or anything like that. That's kind of like a preference thing up to the level of riding that you're doing, the strain that you're putting on your horse. So this is fine. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna put a lunge line on her. So put her lead back on her, the lunge lines are out there, and we're gonna go lunge her first, as I explained earlier, why we're doing that with her specifically. All right, let me give you the lunge line. We're gonna recheck her girth. And you're gonna need a whip. Not to whip her with, it's just an extension of your arm, but she's a very lazy lady. Yeah. So let me check your girth. See, it's already slipped back a little bit. If you have a loose girth, a lot of the times the saddle will slip backwards or slip side to side. So we're probably gonna have to take it up on the other side before you get on, but that works for now. So she just kind of locked up there in her stifle a little bit. So you might see her at the beginning of the ride pop, especially the left stifle a little bit. So literally the chiropractor went over her today. She has zero pain response in her stifle, zero pain response anywhere. She was actually so good today, like as far as pain in her body. We've been doing a lot of lunging for Ethel, been doing lots of trotting work and just kind of like slow riding work. So that's not something that we worry about that's giving her discomfort, and building up muscle is actually going to help her with that in the long run. So
What's a stifle?
so it's similar to like the human knee. It's a joint, and so like it hinges in the back leg. And so for her, that's a, you know, they have to use the stifle when picking up their leg and when using their back leg. And so when you see her, you'll see like kind of a hitchy look to her. That's from the stifle being kind of sticky. The joint not having an adequate amount of muscle around it. And I think there's some other issues that she had as a youngster from, I think it was a man-made issue if I'm being honest. So I think it's the cartilage and other things surrounding the joint that are a little lax now. So it like pops and doesn't stay in place. I could be saying that wrong. I don't know.
It's the top, it's the middle knee, or the one by the foot?
No, it's up high. So it's not the hock. It's not the pointy in the middle, it's above that. So we do a really slow start with her, walking, jogging, and you're doing good. She'll be a little bit sticky in the hind end. Like I said, she had like 0 pain response earlier. She just has to work into it. And again, this was veterinarian and chiropractor recommended that she be put into work because it's better for her before anyone comes at me. So she's staying towards the horse's middle section / butt to keep her going forward and in this circle. If she gets too close to her head and in front of her eye as the horse moves around in the circle, the horse will most likely stop and think that we're gesturing for her to turn around. There you go. You can even try to get her on a longer line if you get more aggressive. So you want me to show you how aggressive you can be? Because I don't want her really going fast.
Yeah.
You just might have to walk. Oh, Ethel! You just might be a little, you might have to like shorten up every now and then. You can use your, so I might have to like have my hand up this high sometimes. Keep going, Ethel. And then sometimes I might walk to give her that bigger circle because for her specifically, a bigger circle is better on her joints. Turning tight is going to be a little bit harder on her. I mean, that kind of goes for all horses. So I try to give them the chance to have a bigger circle if I can, unless there's like other horses in here. So see if you can give that a try and keep her kind of going out. I'm gonna get whipped if I'm not careful. Good job. I'm getting out. It was like a slow motion. Now, I want you to gesture for her to stop by standing at her eye and saying whoa and pulling in.
Whoa.
Now turn her around. Good job. Good job. Good job. Got her going now. That's a really good trot for her. It's still considered probably a jog, but it's at a more forward pace. She's using her body a little better. Probably gonna be helping her build a little more muscle. This is deeper sand too, so that's a little harder for her than just regular dirt or being out in the pasture. It's gonna work her a little bit harder. What?
I dropped the whip.
And she stops immediately.
She does turn her head to the side like that.
So today when the chiropractor adjusted her,
Yeah.
like her whole body was great. She was just a little stiff one way and with her neck. And so you can definitely see that here on the lunge line. So when I ride her, I'll probably hop on her. I might go ahead and get on her before Abigail gets on her and just kind of flex her a little bit. I like to flex a lot of my horses with their neck and kind of just do a lot of walking like with their body and like manipulating their body in different ways. I'll just hop on her before you get on her.
Okay.
All right, so do you remember how I told you to put it on?
I think so.
So I'm gonna just gesture to you how you're doing it. You're gonna stand on her right side. You're gonna hold her head here. You're gonna take this hand and go over. You're gonna grab this, pull it up, and you'll hold the bit with your hand and feed it into her mouth. Now when you bring it up, you wanna make sure her tongue is underneath it. Most likely it's gonna be underneath the bit. So you just don't wanna like do it so quickly that her tongue gets stuck over it. And then you'll fit it over her ears, okay? Luckily for us, Ethel's not going to go anywhere. Okay. Yep. Good job. It's up there. So now you can use both hands and fit it over. Yep, fit her ear in there. Good job. So they do have this gap in their mouth to where if she was like refusing to open her mouth, you can stick your finger in here and there's no teeth. But good job. That's, let's see. Yeah, we got 2 wrinkles. 2 wrinkles. Some people have different, you know, schools of thoughts on bit height. I like 2 wrinkles. This girth was on a horse that is much larger than she, and so it needed to be a little bit taken up. Now, she's not going anywhere. I don't usually just leave your horses, okay? Ethel's just a saint. I always use a stool when getting on my horse. I personally don't have the agility that I once did to hop up there without, you know, yanking their withers over or their back over. So to me, it's much easier on their backs, nicer to them if I use a stool. So I'm just gonna do a little warm up ride on her just to get her listening. One thing we had an issue with the last time she was ridden, because my best friend's little girl's been riding her, Abigail's been riding her, so it's all been beginners riding her lately. And the last time that she was ridden by them, she absolutely decided she was just gonna do what she wanted to do. So I'm just gonna do a little tune up. So one thing that's actually really good for Ethel, specifically because of wanting to build her muscles back up in her hind end, is backing. What's bad for her is that was something that was used as a punishment at one point in her career before I got her. And that was also something that was what caused medical issues with her stifle. Done too much, too harshly, without the proper form, without her proper muscling. So one thing I incorporate into the ride at the very beginning specifically is I just do a slow backup every now and then before I ever jog. I try to keep her as straight as possible, but due to her lack of muscling, she's probably gonna, like, you know, swerve a little bit. So she wants to hollow out when she goes to backing. She wants to throw her head up and her back get hollow. She did good at the end there. That was the one thing she was doing to Rebecca's little girls and Abigail the other day. She was wanting to just trot when they weren't telling her to trot, and she didn't want to stop when they were doing the correct cue to stop. So her cue to stop is you squeeze with your spurs and say whoa and sit deep. Well, that was a little bit. That wasn't crispy. Whoa, that was crispy. Good girl. So I'm trotting her a little more forward than I'm going to be telling Abigail to, and like a little more forward than I would be showing her. This is deep sand in here, so this more forward trot is what's going to build her muscle. It's where she's more collected. She's a horse that wants to be really heavy on her forehand, meaning her front end. And so she gets a little shuffly in the front. No. She wants to lope instead of working hard. She wants to lope sloppily instead of trotting nice. No, trot. See, she's been, what is happening over here?
Do you feel it?
Trot.
Back. I didn't feel anything.
She's trying to cheat me by loping instead of just trotting nicely. Trot. Because trotting like this collected is hard. It's building muscle. She's using herself. She doesn't want to do that. She wants to lope instead, but she wants to lope crappily. You don't have to leave this whole thing in there. Trot, 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 no, trot, Trot. Girlfriend. She don't want to trot nicely. She doesn't want to work. Trot. Oh. Oh, that was crispy. All right. She might be very easy to lope today. Cool. So we're mostly gonna walk and trot today, but we'll probably end with a little lope. I would say because I'm not riding today and just letting you, walk around and jog around, I'm gonna try to like really tell you how to use your feet on her and not as much hand. Because she is a horse that's spur trained. She's one that was trained to go off of your leg. And so the more you understand your feet and how she reacts to them, the easier everything will be. So hop up there and then I'll fix your stirrups once you're up. Oh, I'm going from the long way. I would say 3 or 4. That's 3. Does that feel good or too long or?
That I don't think I would want it shorter.
Okay. Try to have the weight that you're putting down into your stirrup be on the ball of your heel. So push it out like a 1/2 inch. And you're want to instead of pushing out with your feet, you're going to want to push down.
Like,
yes, you want to hug your horse as you sit down. So this is where your leg stays versus out. So you were kind of standing up and pushing out here. That doesn't do anything. You want to sit down and around your horse. So standing up in your stirrups is a good tool.
but I can't
So you don't need to do big movements.
but if I don't turn my foot, how do I
So when you were just turning your foot there, your heel's going up. You want to push down and around. So you have ball spurs on. They're she's used to these.
Mm-hmm.
So if we need to, I might put those on just so that you can feel them. But you don't know how to ride yet where you know how to keep the spurs off of your horse,
Mm-hmm.
which is just as important as knowing how to put them on your horse, which is why you don't have them on yet. So I would mostly focus on just when you stand up in your stirrups, that's using your weight to push down here. So you don't want to focus on pushing out. You want to focus on that motion, like when you push super far down into your heels and all that weight's pushing down, then you sit down and your legs don't move. So you're not like standing up, pushing your legs out and then flapping down and your feet go forward. You want to stand up, get your heels down, and then just put your butt back on the saddle instead of shifting forward or backwards or anything like that. Okay, so we're also doing one hand today.
Okay.
Because I think at the walk at least, maybe not at the trot, but because I want you to feel how she's so sensitive to being pushed around. And I think that'll help you at your trot steering once you figure that out walking. So you're always going to ride with your left hand. That's just a thing. So
Do you have to though?
you don't have to, but pretty much everyone does, regardless if they're right-handed or left-handed. How that originated was ropers. You always want to be riding your horse with your non-dominant hand, and then your rope is in your dominant hand.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of how it started. So go ahead and start with your left hand and put your front finger, this forefinger, in between the reins. That way you can learn to feed in and out, and you can give her longer rein or shorten up by just inching up and down your reins. So just basics.
My feet kind of if I don't hold them like this, then
Okay,
they
that's fine.
go like that, and it kind of hurts my ankles a little bit.
Then try to push a little out. Just don't do the drastic completely out.
Okay.
We're gonna focus a lot on our seat and our feet and our hands and directing her at the walk. she is trained, and we'll see if she's actually listening today. If you want to go right, you're going to direct right. So you're not going to pull backwards. You're going to stay in this square. So right next to your horn, right in front of your horn, on either side, and if you're backing, right behind the horn. So this box is where you're staying. So if you want to go right, you're going to push your hand over, not behind the horn, but over in front of the horn. You're going to push with your left leg. So to go right, because you're pushing her that way. And then, like, you know, obviously a little tap to keep her going forward. But that's how you're going to turn her. So that's what you're going to do right now, because you need to get her going into the arena. So over, push, give it a little, pull her that way.
Okay. Whoa.
So instead of taking, and this is different for you because so far you've only ridden one or two-handed.
Uh-huh.
So instead of doing flaps, you're going to want to be more pointed with how you use that.
Whoa.
She's
just not listening to me at all. Whoa.
So just stand there for a second. Next time you want her to stop, pick your hand up in that box and squeeze harder than you think and sit deep, and you don't want to pull forward, or like that's going to tell her you want to keep going forward. So you're going to want to sit deep and squeeze and say, whoa. So keep her on the rail. Don't let her dictate where you're going. And I want every quarter, just go ahead and stop her with just your feet and a little bit of your hand and your voice.
Whoa.
Okay, that wasn't super crispy, so back her up. Not hard, but just back her up. Squeeze with your feet and cluck. Squeeze hard. Good job, now hand forward. Good. Just walk, easy.
No. Whoa, whoa.
Pick up your hand wasn't working. So now, take a deep breath, back her up. Look up with your head. Good. Now just stop and stand there for a second and take a deep breath, because coming out of that last jog, your body had a little more energy in it. And so that was telling her to trot. You might not have even known it, but you want to just, in your head, get in the zone of we are just walking and you're a sack of potatoes. So if you have energy in your body in the least, she is going to feel it. So you just want to be super relaxed and chill. The more you anticipate, like, oh my gosh, she's trotting, blah, 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 she's going to do it more. So good. So just sink into that saddle. Good. So whenever you're ready, do it again. A nice stop and back.
Whoa.
Good. Good. Stay at it. Keep her going. Keep it going and stop. Now give her a moment before you tell her to go forward, because if you like goose her to go forward out of that backup, she's like, oh, we're going, you know? So give her a second to be like all 4 feet planted, and then ask her to walk again. Good job. Now make sure you're keeping the upper body back so you're not tipping forward. Good. Now I want you to try to reverse. So I want you to stay that same upper body. I want you to move your hand and look where you're going. Look where you're going, move your hand and guide her, and use that outside foot.
Reverse?
Yeah, reverse. Yep, keep her going, keep her going, keep her going, keep her going. Look up, upper body up. Kick her with your outside leg. Good job. Take her to the rail. Good job. Remember, just you're sitting like a sack of potatoes. Now this way, you already know she wants to turn. So you're just gonna have to combat that by, directing her back to the rail, and you can block her with that inside leg. Now that doesn't mean spur, it just means that leg is there and you're like, hey, we're not turning.
Yeah.
All right, now sit like a sack of potatoes and let her slow down at the walk. Good job. Okay, so I feel like this is probably the third or fourth time she's ridden Ethel, and this is the first time I haven't been on a horse and I've been like focusing on telling her what to do. And I think it took Ethel a couple of times of having her correct her and correctly ask her to do a maneuver, and now Ethel's like, oh, okay, she's riding me. I'm not just toting somebody around, you know? So I feel like moving around, changing directions at the walk with one hand has drastically improved to where I'm like, okay, let's jog. Do you want to jog?
Yeah.
Okay. So same thing, where she has to make her listen to her. She has to be the one to make her do it. So we've been coming up with a couple of things that she can do to correct her. So like using your other hand and bumping her when she's trying to like take her the other way, things like that. So I want you to get past the problem area. She wants to like take her in the barn. So we're gonna get past the problem area, and then just like you do at the walk, you're gonna sit like a sack of potatoes. You're gonna keep your hand in the box. You are going to keep that riding position. Your leg looks fantastic. And you're just going to ask. You can always ask for more, so that's why you want to start softly. That was way better. Like, since she's corrected her, she didn't even try her there. You can always use more force, so you're going to start off softly, keep sitting back, keep your weight in your saddle, softly cluck, and use both feet to ask for the jog. Now she's going to want to turn, so you preemptively know you're going to have to keep her straight.
Okay.
Don't sit forward. Good job. Now her trot looks disgusting. I know her trot looks disgusting when it's slow and not collected. This is a whole anyway. There you go. Now sit like a sack of potatoes. Sit up tall in your upper body and start turning now. Good job. That's a good jog. That's a good trot. Don't let her lope. She is wanting to cut though, so get her back over on the rail. I feel like your leg is so much tighter to her today than it has been. I feel like that's probably why she's listening really well right now, but she is getting a little forward for what we're wanting. So in that sense, all you have to do is pick up your hand just a little bit, but you keep your leg on her.
Okay.
So she would supposedly, if she's doing it correctly, which she might have a mind of her own, so we don't know yet, but supposedly when you want her to kind of slow down and collect, pick your hand up and squeeze your legs. But when you pick that hand up, your body is naturally, you're gonna look down at your hand and you're gonna do this. So preemptively no, don't look at your hand, just pull back to your belly button and keep like your composure and your posture. Now that right hand is looking a little goofy. Just put it right here. Put it right here. Yeah, there you go. Don't flex it. Just let it go loose. Oh Lord. What are you doing?
You said just let it go loose.
The hand, not the body. Now we're getting a little fast. So then, yep, stay with your squeezing, sitting deep, bringing that hand, and as soon as she correctly adheres to your cue, you release your hand. Good job. Good job.
Whoa.
Good job. Give her a pat for that. That was really, really good. That was good. She's licking her lips. I feel like this little, like really focusing on our feet and correcting her a couple of times, I think she is like, look at her ears on you right now. She's in a different demeanor than the last couple of times you've ridden her.
Yeah, it seemed very different.
Yes. We've never pivoted. And I think this will help you too, because at the riding block, that a great time to pivot would have been just pivoting it around so that you could just walk off. So bring her to the center, and I'm gonna teach you how to pivot. Personally, I think you've done so good. I don't think opening up the lope can of worms is needed today because this has just been so good. I think pivoting is where today's lesson should end. I think Matt might get on. Maybe for a little walk around. He can have his own.
I just need to see it.
He can have his own stardom another time.
I need some proof.
Okay, So with this being said, I haven't even pivoted her in a minute. I know she knows how. Do I think she's tuned up? No. So we're gonna not focus on speed, focusing on just correct. So a pivot is where she is going to leave one of her feet in the same spot, depending on which direction she's going. And then, so one of her feet is gonna stay still, supposedly, that's the hope. And then in the front end, she is going to, depending on which way, cross in front. So what you don't want is if she's gonna be pivoting for her to cross in the back. It's just gonna put her off balance and make her get out of her spot. So you want her to pivot like this, either way. So with that being said, how you're gonna ask her is you're gonna sit back, like just how you've been. So when I say sit back, I'm more meaning with up here. Good job, like that. So it's not a slump back, it's like you're already sitting like this and it's your upper body, more so than anything. So you're not going to try to like back her up. That's when she'll get, you know, whatever. You're gonna push this foot, because we're gonna do that way first. You're gonna push this foot to right here. So that's the only difference, is just this little bit of movement. You're gonna turn your toe out just a little bit so that you've got this heel. You're gonna take your hand over this way and you're gonna cluck. So the one thing that she might do, I'm already anticipating, she's gonna hang up and be like, what? So you might have to like bump her face like this to get her going. So we'll see. That might have just helped her, honestly. So go ahead and push this forward. You're gonna look left, but don't go backwards, just over. And then give a little tap. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Did you see that?
Look at digging a hole.
See that hole?
That's how planted it was.
Did you see that hole? All right, do it the other way. Now, it was a little, again, we're not going for fast. So you did good. That was like an exceptional first
that was
pivot.
Actually crazy.
So same thing this way. And again, you can use your hand, maybe even because she's a little on the like rusty side. When I say to go down here, yeah, and just kind of like bump her. So she's like turning her nose this way.
Oh, okay.
So she knows what direction. So same thing. So we walked out of that. So go ahead and stop again.
Whoa.
So you don't want to urge too much forward. So you're gonna push this forward and you're gonna push. So this is when push hard, push hard, push hard. Bring your hand, yep, push. Whoa. That was still really good. She's not tuned. Like, that was still really good. So now that you did that, try it one more time. Now that
Other
she
way?
like, no, this
way?
same way. Try it one more time. Try to keep it, if she's going too far forward, yeah, go to one hand, look up, shoulders back, look where you're going, push, 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 push. Little bump, 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 bump. Good job, good job. Look at you correcting. Look at you.
Whoa.
Pretty good.
Oh, that was pretty good. That was the best control you've had since you've been on a horse, honestly. Any horse. That was, I think, the most consistent you've had on speed, both walk and trot, and you just pivoted. I think that was pretty dang good. So I think this is the start of a series, possibly. We'll see. Maybe branching off into other horses. We didn't even elope today. Because I'm trying to sneakily get you to show one of my horses. I'm trying to sneakily convince her to go to a horse show. And you don't have to do the elope, you can just jog. But if she's going for Rebecca's kids anyway, you might as well. Might as well. She's not even looking at me now. Here's your dang glasses. So now she's just gonna untack her, hose her off, and then put her back outside with her friends.
Okay. Terrifying.
Good girl. Come on, Kennedy. So bring her in, turn her around, and don't take her halter off unless she's facing the gate. So turn that off and then get out as quickly as possible. So I feel like that was a good example of all the things that you do when you go ride. You have to go catch them, you have to groom them, you have to saddle them, you have to, you know, prep them, and then there's still things you have to do after the fact, and there's your ride. So it's not all just about, you know, slinging a leg over, and I don't think everyone would realize that if you haven't been around horses. So I hope this gave you a little bit of a view into it. Abigail, you did fantastic. You did great. I hope you enjoyed watching that kind of like beginner look into things. Let me know if you have any questions about it, if this is something you'd like to see more of. And I really just want to become an avenue for people who haven't been around horses and want to be, or don't have the option to be, or would like to get into it, to ask questions and learn about it. And I don't want to gatekeep any horsey information, but I'm also not an expert. So I guess let me know if you have any questions and stay tuned for more.